In Ireland, you go to someone's house and they ask you if you want a cup of tea. And you say, no thank you, I'm fine. And then she asks if you're sure. And you say, of course I'm sure, I don't need a thing. Except they pronounce it ting. So you say, of course I'm sure, I don't need a ting. Eventually, you go back and forth, and eventually you notice yourself in the kitchen, having your cup of tea, chatting and eating. Now, in America, if you go to someone's house and they ask you if you want a cup of tea and you say no thank you, you don't get any damn tea. I like the Irish way much better, and so does author C.E. Murphy. So today I'm going to be talking about tea culture in different countries and how specific types of tea impact the countries that they are most popular in. Tea culture is defined by the way tea is consumed and prepared in any given region, the interactions people have with said tea, and the ideas surrounding drinking it. So firstly, I'm going to be talking about in England how tea is so ingrained in their society that they have actual meal times that are specifically surrounding tea consumption. Next, in the American South, how iced sweet tea is used as a way to keep hospitality culture alive. And finally, in China, the original motherland of tea, how green tea has been used for thousands of years for every element under the sun. So one thing interesting about tea culture in Britain is that they have actual time set aside for tea consumption that surround it. So an example is 11ses. 11ses is a break time around 11 a.m. or so before lunch and after dinner. So 11ses is a break time before lunch and after breakfast around 11 a.m. where you have a cup of tea and a biscuit or a scone with that. I think the most popular one that we as Americans know is afternoon tea, which is depicted here. Afternoon tea is a snobbish and very etiquette-driven affair that started in the 1800s by ladies of the ton as used as a status symbol. Another tea time that I really like is high tea, which started around the same time as afternoon tea by the lower classes. You usually enjoy it with a hearty meal, and you can drink alcohol during that time as well. So the tea most served in England, in the UK, is English breakfast tea at 52%, and that was found by a 2014 survey conducted by Statista.com. Closely following that was green tea consumption, around 30% or so, as it's starting to gain popularity for its health benefits. Tea consumption in the American South is viewed as a pleasure-filled drink, and it's a staple of the culture. In the 1800s, iced tea was actually used to dilute alcoholic beverages, but during the Prohibition era, non-alcoholic iced tea became a staple and has been so ever since. When we think of sweet tea, it is synonymous with Southern ideals, and there's only one way to actually make sweet tea, and that is, here it is depicted here, that's going to be sweet tea. There's only one way to make it, which is you have the tea leaves and hot water, and then you put in the sugar. You do not put in the sugar after it's already iced and whatnot, and that is very strict. You cannot stray from that there. So the Americas are tea's newest venture, but tea has been used for centuries in Asia. In fact, the Chinese have been drinking tea for more than 2,000 years, according to Stuart Hiver. Their tea has been used as medicine, and it is so ingrained in that culture that it is actually used during funerals and weddings and graduations. Just very important ceremonies. Okay. So tea remains the most popular drink in the world after water, and the global market is forecast to reach $47.2 billion by 2020. Green tea is viewed and desired for its health benefits. The reason why is because green tea is used and desired for its health benefits. Black tea is used and consumed for its warmth and its uphold of traditional values. And sweet tea is consumed for its yummy taste. As William Barclay says, who is a third-generation tea tester in the American South, what could be better than a life centered around tea? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Thank you.